Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's album review. Today, we are going to be reviewing an album called Hyperreal-Ravelord by TJ Beast Boy. It was requested. Request will be down below. So I'll just share the screen with you to show you what the album looks like. It's not actually an album, it's actually an extended play. Brett, can you see my screen here?
Yeah, that's come up.
So, yeah, really interesting. It's only 12 minutes, 25 seconds long. Just the 4 tracks on there. So our shortest ever album or whatever album that we've ever listened to. So I would, well, Brett, you don't know anything about this. I've done a little bit of research. What type of music would you say this is, based on the name of the album cover, the names of the tracks?
Yeah, well, okay, with the little knowledge I know, I will take from the album cover and the fact with the word rave in it, it would likely have been sort of dance, trance, rave type music, underground rave type music. But I presume you're asking me that question because it's either not anything like that or something different. So
yeah, well,
yeah, that's my
TJ Beast Boy is a rapper. So even though it looks like it's going to be this kind of dancey stuff, trance stuff, rave stuff, you know, I'm expecting rap. Now, I don't know exactly if it's going to be some combination of the two, some kind of dancey style of rap or whatever, but definitely going to be rapping here for sure. So I was kind of surprised by that because, yeah, judging by the picture, the name, you would have thought it would have been just kind of some hardcore dancey style music.
Interesting if it is like sort of hardcore. Imagine hardcore dance, hardcore rap. Don't never really come across that before. So if it turns out to be like that, really interesting.
Yeah, it's a really short one, this, but looking forward to it. Really am. Don't really know what to expect from it. It's German as well, in case you didn't know. So we have had German rap and German hip hop previously. So if it is a very rappy, hip hoppy, whatever, be interesting to compare it to those different artists like Genetic and Collega that we've already listened to. So yeah, it's short and sweet, and look forward to it. Pretty much it. So in a few seconds, you'll be passed over to our modern day versions where we'll have already listened to the album. So we'll see you. Yeah, we're off now to listen to the album, but yeah, 3 seconds. We're going to be with you. 3, 2, 1. So, thank you for passing us on. We've now listened to the EP. So we'll go ahead and tell you what we thought of it. So, Hyperreal-Ravelord by TJ Beast Boy. Yeah, so I thought it was an interesting mixture of electro house and rap, something new for me. When I think of rap, I think of like the rap that we had been previously listening to, like, you know, Genetic and Collega. This kind of put a whole new kind of element, I guess, in it to me. For me, you know, it was something. It was rap, but it was a completely different style of rap. So I enjoyed it, you know, to an extent. I do feel like that perhaps if the album had been longer, I may have got a bit tired of it, as it was all, you know, rather similar. But I think it does depend on like the context, like what sort of situation you're listening to it. We've talked about this before. I don't think this sort of music is good for sitting down, trying to pick it out, you know, pick up elements of it and write stuff down. It's not very, basically, I'm saying it's not very good for reviewing individually song by song. But I listened to this a few times because it's so short. The last time I listened to it was last night, and I was in my living room just dancing with my wife, and that was the most enjoyable time I had listening to it, because that's what it it's designed for, I guess. You know, it's dance music. So yeah, if you're sitting down reviewing it, not as good. If you're dancing to it, great. And I couldn't differentiate. Maybe I should learn German. Might have more success. I couldn't differentiate too much between the tracks. You know, there was obviously differences. I think with this, we've talked about the importance of rap in terms of the meaning and the lyrics. I think with this, the meaning isn't so important. I think the beats is the key here. I'd like to know the difference between Beast Boy and Baby Brain, because I know this guy, he does have different, he goes by different names. This one was Beast Boy, but sometimes he's also known as Baby Brain. So I'm wondering, is there a difference in style of music depending on which name he goes on? So yeah, I enjoyed it. Short and sweet. Brett, what about you?
Yeah, so the first thing I put as my note here feels very modern. And especially when you looked into the lyrics as well, you know, as a young guy, it just felt very modern. And as you said there, you've got to be in the right place. So this I've put down is definitely for, you know, when you're in the club. And again, as we go through tracks, but I definitely found, especially the first one, my head was definitely bopping, my toes were definitely tapping. Couldn't help but do that with it. Again, even though without actually knowing the lyrics of what's going on, just the beats and the tune was really enjoyable. And yes, definitely the 4 tracks are very similar, pretty much the same, apart from there are obviously some differences with that there. But yeah, as I said, very modern. Like I said, it was only the 4 tracks anyway. I quite enjoyed it, and I realised that I don't really know much about sort of rap and dance music or house music together. Kind of thought I did, but then I was thinking about it, and actually I don't really know anyone that I could sort of associate to, you know, compare it to. And like you were rap music, yeah, you generally think of it as one style in one genre, but with this, and it does actually work quite well, because why wouldn't it? Because house and dance music is very, you know, big, lots going on, and would easily work with rap music as well. So yeah, definitely got my head bopping. Definitely enjoyed it. And again, because I'm sure I did listen to it again, and yeah, you just have to be in the right mind, the right way of listening to it.
Okay, so we'll go through the 4 tracks. First one was Potty Crasher. So I described it as electro house rap, sort of dance rap. I heard some English swearing in there, and this was before I looked at the lyrics. The first time I listened to it, I was just, well, the first time I was doing something else. The second time I started making notes on it, and I still hadn't looked at the lyrics. So I got the feeling, based on the title for a start, Party Crasher, so someone crashing a party. Bearing in mind I don't speak German, but I can pick up the odd thing here. I got the feeling that he's telling a story, maybe about crashing a party and then ending up running away from the police. I found it quite listenable, quite enjoyable. And when I did then look at the lyrics, I mean, that's pretty much what was the case. Crashed the party, ended up having to do a runner from the police. Now I have taken a line from each of the songs. I don't really think it was necessary, but just because it's so short, thought, you know, might as well, to make the review a little bit longer. I think all of these tracks, to be honest, there's no deep meaning behind them, because as I said, it's not really about the lyrics for me. I think it's more about the beats, you know, the fact you're dancing to it. So the lyrics just kind of add to it, but there's nothing really to be taken from the lyrics, if that makes sense. But the one I've taken here, the line I took was, Jeder von euch geht jetzt auf YouTube und abonniert mich. So each of you now go to YouTube and subscribe to me. So that's exactly what I want you to do now. subscribe to us. So,
and to Beastie Boy, give him credit as well. Subscribe to both of us.
So if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, do it now. That's an order, not a request.
Order from Beastie Boy.
Yeah. Brett, what did you think of it? Potty Crasher.
Yeah, I really like this song. Again, like I did with some of the other German albums I've been listening to, I listened to it all the way through first, just to not get influenced by the lyrics, just to try and, you know, see how I feel about the song and then look back at the lyrics. But with the song, even without knowing what's going on, I said my head was bopping, my toe was tapping. I was really enjoying it. I could sense the feel with the beat going on of a story trying to be being told as well. I managed to pick up like some of the numbers in German, notice that. And as you said there, I have written some lyrics or take some stuff from it, but as I said, they're not like Kollega's deep meaning ones or even Genetics deep meaning. It's just telling the story. And it made me think about also like, you know, gate crashing like a party, because he talks about in there about actually jumping through the window. So is it almost like breaking in? Is that kind of what it's more doing rather than? And I've been thinking, like, actually, if you're not, because he didn't want to, he wasn't invited. He actually is not very, doesn't obviously like the person, doesn't even like their house. So it's almost like breaking an entry in a way. I don't know. We've actually breaking because he jumped through a window. Just made me think of any party you gate crash. I suppose you are breaking the law in some.
Yeah, haven't you seen like on the In-Betweeners? I think there's an episode where they go on. Is it for a fence or something on?
Yeah, they can come through. Yeah, which could obviously. The host had said, "Oh, you can stay if you want," so obviously it was okay. But technically, yeah, I guess that's sort of breaking the law. What I noticed with it as well when I was looking for lyrics, there's obviously also, and this is what made it sort of quite modern, album, where there's obviously words on there which didn't translate into English. They're almost, I don't know what the word is, like different words for different things, like modern words. So, for example, he talks about missets. So he goes to party, sees a lot of missets.
Oh, yeah, that kept cropping up all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So missets is a reference to a girl who's actually sort of desperate to get with a boy or get a boyfriend, and they'll do anything they want to get that. So he always refers to that. And he also is quite vague. He also talks a lot about himself on his looks, which I know gets mentioned up a bit later on as well.
Sorry, quick question. Sorry, this word misseps. Is that, did you have to look that up, or you already knew it?
Yeah, no, I had to look it up. I'm not young enough, hip enough to know the new
terms of. Is it an English word as well? Is that what it, or you mean it's German, just a German word?
Well, this is interesting. This is what I'm not entirely sure. So, is that although you can get it in English, it does come up as English as an English word. Well, an English word with English translation. So, but whether it's been taken from a German initially, but I don't think so. I think it's taken from English or American style sort of words there, modern.
Sorry, and you said that, what was the meaning again? It's a girl that can't get a guy.
No, a girl looking to almost get a guy. They use the term that actually will do anything to do that if it means backstabbing someone because they're desperate to get a boyfriend or get a guy. Yeah, okay. And it's almost girls who also do that and then treat them like shit for them to hope that they will just end up and they're just going to move on to another one. So it's I think the way it's trying to say, I think it's almost like a girl who wants to be maybe like a slut but doesn't want to be perceived like that. So doesn't want to get a boyfriend if he can, but doesn't want to commit. It'll just make things difficult from there. Yeah. But also noticed YouTube line he put in there as well, and then we obviously found out he's obviously a big YouTuber as well. He does a lot of, that's mainly his thing as well. And I like the line of mainly I liked I piss on your leg even if I don't have a full bladder, which I thought was quite poetic in a way. It's making a real good interesting point, you know, that he's even able to urinate someone even if he doesn't have to go, which is quite a big skill.
Okay, so the next one was 1,000 times or 1,000x cooler. So first of all, I want to just say, I think if you look on Spotify, this is by far and away the most viewed track. I think it's like 33 million views. But I think the reason for that is because it was released when I was looking at his Wikipedia page in German. So kind of put a bit more pressure on this one. So again, obviously electro house music with rap, but it wasn't as dancey as the previous song. And then that was proved when I was dancing with my wife in the living room. I wasn't able to, it wasn't quite as upbeat. It was okay, but I didn't like this one as much. Probably my least favorite, perhaps, out of the four. The line I took from here was: Du sitzt im Mercedes und siehst aus wie ein Loser, Mann. Ich sitze in der Bahn und fühle mich tausendmal cooler. So you sit in the Mercedes and look like a loser. Man, I'm on the train feeling 1,000 times cooler. So from what I understood about the lyrics, something about, he's talking about someone who's got more money than him, richer, but yeah, he's still a loser kind of thing. Whereas this guy hasn't got as much, but he's still 1,000 times cooler.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a theme going throughout about being cool and stuff throughout this here. Exactly said before, yeah, definitely a slightly slower tempo to the song. I generally preferred the one before. It didn't sound the same, but I didn't say I did enjoy this one. I still, like I said, had my head bopping. I'm still feeling the beats of that there. The line or paragraph is coming to it here. So, homie, I'm effing cool. I'm motherfucking sexy. I'm motherfucking cute. I'm I'm like just like Pepsi. And over here, I kidnap beats in the booth. I only have music from my crew on my phone, which also I found quite really modern. And I wear beanie in the hood. So definitely talking about sort of the cool side of things and just talking himself with that. And I forgot there's another bit before from the other track. I think you mentioned later on the term about being a bricky boy. And that came up quite a bit. And again, I found out from that it's a term to when someone is extremely good looking. Even the phrase used here, girls could just look at you and feel like they can lose their virginity just by looking at you. So if you're a bricky boy, you're just, you're really good looking. You sort of walk in and people just take notice of you.
Yeah, I saw
so
that.
If anyone calls you a bricky boy, Lee, don't be offended. It's an absolute. Because I'm sure I've had people say, "Oh, you're a prick." Maybe I've seen a brick. Maybe they're referring to a bricky boy. So who knows? I don't know.
You're a brick. Okay, I'll bear that in mind. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I was wondering what that meant, bricky boy. So yeah, next one then, blah blah blah. So obviously again, electro house music, rap, similar to this one was more for me more similar to the first song, certainly in terms of the beats. It was more upbeat. I thought the different rap parts worked quite well. Some sort of different elements of rap I noticed in there. Again, very sort of quite listenable. I like the chorus, blah, blah, blah. In terms of the meaning, I'll be honest with you, I couldn't really find anything. I didn't really understand what it was about when I translated it. The line I took was, Ich bin geosexuell, denn ich ficke die Welt. I'm gay because I fuck the world. I mean, what does that mean? I don't know. I didn't get the logic of that. But maybe that's the whole thing of this whole song. I just didn't get the logic of any of it. So maybe that's just kind of proving my point. I don't know. But yeah, this was for me. This one and the first track were the ones I preferred out of the four.
Yeah. Again, I haven't really got much to say on this. Again, it was hard to sort of pick up, and I kind of get just the whole blah blah blah. It's just sort of it's definitely meant to be talking about other people's songs, and just how other people talk. A bit like with the guy you talk about Mercedes, he's got his money, his Mercedes, but he's just not cool. It's just saying so. It could be the same thing. All these people talking or doing stuff. It's just like whatever. It's just boring or just not cool. That's what I sort of got from it there.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah. The line I wrote down here. You're just like a dog. Eat what falls off from the table. Those still on leashes, shouldn't bark. Those are, sorry, still on short leashes, shouldn't bark. Again, almost kind of poetic in some regards. Just telling people, yeah, you know, who try to be all that, just, you know, pipe down.
But remember, in German, it may work a lot better than what it sounds like in English.
Yeah, okay. I think it does work in that translation, something there. I thought it was quite good, but yeah, that's what I was saying. That song.
And the last track then was Winner. Didn't have much to say about this one. Electro house rap, I'd probably put it in the same bracket as 1,000 Times Cooler. So in terms of like, didn't enjoy this one quite as much. What was it about? About nothing. I really couldn't really find you know, a meaning to it. But like I say, I don't think it needed a meaning. I just think it's more kind of like what I would call fun rap. This whole album, you know, it's not to be taken too seriously. It's just a bit of fun. It's all about kind of the dancing, the music, and just the rap just sort of adds to it. The line I took was "Wer soll bitte dieser Kollege sein?" So who is this Kollege supposed to be? So I had to mention that. You know, we've got Kollege in there. He's mentioned Kollege in his song, so had to bring that up.
Yeah. Again, I haven't got much more to say. Again, it's slowest sound to it. It's almost kind of having an R&B / dance feel to it. Lucky it was short, otherwise I think it could have been quite repetitive. I think you said before, if this was like a whole album of this, I think at this point it may have got a bit more, because it feels like it should be very repetitive, but it didn't feel like that for some reason. But I think if there was more of it, then maybe it would have done. Yeah, I mentioned obviously Kollege got mentioned. I wasn't sure, was he trying to say in a good way, bad way, or just compare it? Then wasn't that clear really. It was
what
just
I've got here, who is this Kollege supposed to be? Maybe he's talking about who is this guy like acting like he's Kollege, like all big and hard.
Yeah, see, I thought he was saying it in sort of a negative way, but I thought maybe I wasn't sure. But that's how I initially thought of it, but I wasn't sure. The line I took from this, I'm tearing you into pieces like David Copperfield. Now, the reason that intrigued me there is that this is obviously a young guy from Germany. How does he even know about the illusionist David Copperfield? I mean, I love David Copperfield. I'm a big fan of David Copperfield, but he hasn't been around for God knows how many. Right. I don't think he's been around since probably this guy was maybe even born.
Never underestimate people. You never know. You know?
Oh no, 100%. And obviously, he's a big international band, but it just surprised me to think of people have been referenced and stuff. It was just unusual to see David Copperfield appear. So I liked it, appreciate it. It's great. I hope he does like him, but I found it really weird in such a dancey rap song to have comparison to David Copperfield. Now I don't want to go into the whole David Copperfield thing now, so we'll just end it there, I think.
So I don't actually know much about David Copperfield. Is he still alive?
He is still alive, yeah.
So do you think he realises he's in this song?
Definitely not. I mean, I should never assume anything, but 100% house on it that if it turns out you're going into you ask David Copperfield, oh, do you know who Beastie Boy is? You know, you mentioned it. David Copperfield went back, yeah, I know him, I like him. I knew it was. He actually asked me for my permission if I could be in the song. I would give my hat if that turns out to be the case. Okay,
so yeah, that's it. Short and sweet, as I said. So I would sum up by saying this: I'm not a fan of this sort of style of electro house music. I find it quite boring, quite repetitive. But because there's the rap element added in, I liked it. So that's changed everything. So the electro house music on its own, no, I'm not a fan at all. I never have been. But the rap makes it so much more listenable and enjoyable. So when you combine the two together, you get a good result. So yeah, I quite liked it. Like I said, I probably wouldn't want it to have been much longer. Might have got a little bit repetitive, a bit boring, especially when you're trying to sit there and review it, you know, track by track. But if I was like in a dancing a bit, wanted to carry on dancing, then I would have liked it to have carried on a bit more, I guess. So again, like I say, it depends on the situation. So yeah, thanks for the request. Something different in terms of German rap. So yeah, enjoyed it.
Yeah, just add on that. Well, nothing adds different there. I really appreciate to see this different type of German rap in there. I forgot there was actually a point I was going to make, just notes written down, where when I was first into it, initially sounded like Will.i.am Japanese music for some strange reason. It didn't feel very German in that regard. But obviously I'm more into sort of electric dance in some regards, but I said never so sort of rap, and I said it works really well in this regard. And as you said, and I've said before, I think, yeah, if this was like a whole album, it may have got a bit more sort of repetitive. And even though the tracks we listened to could have been considered quite repetitive, they weren't overly that long and did work quite well. And I said I found myself enjoying it, listening to the beats, and I think found after seeing some of the lyrics, I can appreciate that a little bit more, enjoy that a little bit more as well. And I think I definitely would, for the sake of these first few tracks, listen again. But to be clear, yeah, it's definitely Potty Crasher was my overall favourite.
Okay, so I think we've done quite well. We've managed to drag this out for quite a long time. It's just 4 tracks, so well done to us. Yeah, and thanks for the request. Keep them coming in the comment section below. So yeah, thanks for listening, and we will see you again for the next one soon. Take care, guys. Goodbye.